Hello friends, and welcome back to my channel. Welcome to all my new subscribers. I really appreciate you checking out my channel. For those of you who are new, I do a variety of things, but mainly I like to take old things and give them new life. And more of a primitive style. So today I wanted to give some updates. The first are some very sad life updates for me. I lost two beautiful women this year to cancer. I was hospice caregiver for both. January 25th, we lost my sister-in-law, Sonia, to cancer. And that was very hard. It's very hard to talk about. And then on April 28th of this year, we lost my mom to cancer. And that has been extremely difficult. I don't say these updates to gather sympathy or pity or anything like that. It's nothing like that. I really want to give a shout out to hospice caregivers. My mom had hospice at home, and I was her primary caregiver. And I'm glad that I was there for her. Although I wish you were here. Mother's Day was very hard. So, yeah, so those things which should have took me away from my channel, and I need to get back to creating. And I will miss both of those ladies so much, but they're here with me every day. There's not a moment that I don't think about them. So a shout out to all you caregivers. A shout out to all the hospice nurses and the teams and everyone that is involved. It is not easy, and yes, a shout out to all those people. And so that is for that life update. And then as far as channel updates, I will probably be sewing. I will probably be doing sewing videos for the summer, only because I have two craft shows coming up. One is in September, one is in October. And even though I don't do holiday themed items, I try to stick to items that people can use in their homes. Therefore, they could be gifts. I have done holiday themed products in the past and then got stuck with them, so I don't want to do that. So mainly sewing. This project that we're working on today will be mainly for my own purpose. I'm going to sew this up and frame it. But for crafting, for the craft shows, my theme this year is going to be rope and reclaimed fabric. I have a ton of it. People give me fabric, they give me quilt squares, so I have an abundance. And here is a cute little basket, a fabric bowl that I made. and I just love this. And it's so scrappy, and it's perfect for me. And then I added the flower. But for the ones that I'm going to sell, I will be using rope. And I just use this rope that I get from Walmart. It is very reasonably priced and very easy to work with, and it's sturdy, so I really like this. And as far as what I'll be making, as far as what I'll be making, I'll be doing the rope bowls, and then I'm going to do some scrappy rope bracelets. I'm working on a prototype for that, so I'll bring you along on that, because I'm finding that at the craft shows, my reclaimed wood products in this area do not sell. The time that I have to put into them, even though the wood I get for free, but the time I have to put into them, I can't charge what I need to charge for those. And so the price tends to be a little higher. And I even lowered the price and took everything to my last craft show, and I didn't sell any of those. But what I did sell, which was an eye-opener, were my scrappy fabric items. So you may have remembered my video on my little prayer journals. I sold a bunch of those. So that is pretty exciting. So I'll be making some more of these. And I'm using mine for the needle case in the front here. And then I've got my little cross. And people really enjoyed these. So I'll be making more of these in different styles with the mustard seed. And then something else that people really loved were my scrappy bracelets. And I really enjoy making these, and they go together quick, but they're all unique. People like unique when you're selling things. So I'll bring you along on all those sewing projects. If there's something that you want to see in particular as far as sewing goes, please let me know. If you've had any success with the craft shows this year, let me know in the comments what's been selling for you. Now on to what I'm calling fusion stitching. Fusion stitching is seamlessly blending sewing machine stitching and handcrafted artistry through slow stitching. So my whole premise is that I can sew the little snippets, and then I will stitch them on to my backing piece, which is a piece of canvas, with my sewing machine, because I have a Brother SQ9185 sewing machine, and it has 130 stitches. And I was playing around the other night, and some of those stitches are really cute, so it'll be perfect for this. But with this method of sewing, all you need are some needles, thread. You could use embroidery thread. I really like using that. I like muted colors. I like primitive colors. And that's just me. And then you're going to need scraps of fabric. I've got some extra thread here that not sure what happened, but something got caught in the machine. So yeah, so I saved that, and just little pieces of things. And I love these little yo-yos. And these are antique, but if you wanted to make some and have them have that antique look, all you would need to do is make yourself a coffee stain. And first off, make up the yo-yo, make yourself some coffee stain, put them outside. It's summertime now, or almost. Put them outside and let them dry out there, and then give them a good press. And they will come out so rustic looking. And then I've got this white one here, but this one is already coffee stained. And I did do a short on my coffee staining. I call it lasagna, where I layer, first I put down a layer of coffee, and then I put the snippets. And what I'm calling a snippet is anything like this. And then I put my snippets in layers, and then I pour coffee over. Sometimes I'll put some grounds in. Sometimes I'll put some extra tea bags in. And I just layer everything and let those set overnight, and then take them out, rinse them really good, and they come out so pretty. And this has the edging that is so pretty. Now for this piece, the theme is the old rugged cross. And I did print, I took one of my old hymnals and I scanned in the page from the hymnal for that song. It didn't come out so good because I used a tea-stained muslin, but that's fine. Because I'll be covering most of it up, but I know what it is. And then here is some of my tea-stained gauze. And I always keep a lot of that on hand. Because I do use that in a lot of my primitive projects. So I'll make up a batch once a year, because this will go a long way. And my little cross, I thought that would be appropriate. And the only other things you would need would be like your scissors, of course, some buttons if you want to add those on. And what I will do is I kind of lay out what I'm going to do, and then I'll work on the snippets. And excuse me, I'll work on the snippets, and then we'll sew these down with the sewing machine with different stitches. Grab a needle here. And I'm using these embroidery needles. And there's various sizes to them, but I need to be able to see because it's hard for my 60-year-old eyes to see. And then I just use this little needle threader. I believe it's a clover. And I just grab some thread. And I like this because I can have my base piece. And then I'm just going to put a knot in the end. Yeah, my knots are not the best. And I'm sure there's an easier way to do that. But just get a knot in it. And I did want to say, if you need some help as far as stitches go, I picked up this DMC embroidery stitch guide from a garage sale somewhere, and I said, oh yeah, and there's 18 stitches that they show you how to do. So for slow stitching, I tend to stick to the running stitch, the back stitch, and what's nice, this book in particular has holes in it. I'm sure you could get this on Amazon. And then I like let me find it. I do like the seed stitch. I think that that is really cute. So we may use some of that in this project. I love the star stitch. So I use the running stitch, the back stitch, the seed stitch, the French knot, and the star stitch are the ones that I really like. So anyway, this is the book, Embroidery Stitch Guide. I don't do embroidery. That would be too much for my hands. But anyway, this book has been very helpful for me, and I just use a few stitches for the slow stitching. And then all I'm going to do, and I'll try not to bump the camera, but to get started, and then you're just going to do a running stitch. It's kind of hard with the camera in the way here, but it's just basically in and out. And I'm just going to do this one piece here just to show you what we're doing. And just bring it through. And that's kind of hard to see, but you can still see the stitches. I should have used a different color, which I could probably take it back out. But in and out, and you could do all of your slow stitching with the running stitch if you wanted. But you got to change things up, right? And I think I'll end it right there. And then you just take it down in. And these are little snippets. These snippets are great if you're sitting and watching some TV. And then what I like to do is when I bring it back across to sew across, I am going to bring it up in between those. And then so that you get like, so that they're not all aligned. Kind of like that. Because you want it kind of messy. I like mine messy. Because you're doing this stitching to take your mind off of everything that's going on, right? You want to relax. And you think about when people did mending and those types of sewing. You just wanted to get it mended and be done with it, right? You didn't really, as long as it was going to hold up, that's all that matters. So these stitches were a little bigger than the ones on the top. And then we'll go back down and then maybe make these stitches a little smaller. Because you know what? It doesn't really matter. You're looking to add texture. You're looking to relax. And you can go on YouTube and find other stitches as well if you can't find that book, or just stitch however you want. You can make up your own stitches, right? Okay, and for this piece, that's all I'm going to do. So I'm going to come back through, do a knot on the back, sorry. And that will be good. Cut it. And then this is one piece, and then what I will do is simply fold it over just so it's kind of uneven, and then it'll go on here, and we'll move my little snippets. It's kind of fusion stitching as you go, right? And then I kind of want to stay about 1/4 of an inch away from the edge, because I will give it some edge stitching on my sewing machine. And I'm going to try to bring my sewing machine in, so bear with me, there might be some jiggling here. And Let's see. So hopefully you can see that. And I will be reaching. And if you want, you can pin. I do pin. And I use these little tiny pins. They are so nice for the slow stitching projects. So I'm just going to take this and just probably pin it at the end. And at this end. And then if I can swivel you around, you can see all those beautiful stitches. So you can use your creativity with your hands and then with the machine. So let's pick. We have to see what we want to pick here. Let's pick, how about 58? Let's see, because I have the end foot in for my machine. So if we go 58, yep, I have the end foot in, so we should be able to do this 58. And then I'm going to do it on the edge. So I'll bring you back here, and hopefully you can see that. And I'm just going to line up the center with the edge. And I hope that I'm not making the camera too jiggly for you. And then let's put that needle down. There we go. Yeah, I'm sure that the camera is jiggling. And this does not have to be perfect again. Remember, we are being creative. We're allowing ourselves to do whatever we want to do with this project or any project. Okay, needles down. We're going to flip this around. Ooh, I think that's really pretty. Very, very pretty. Okay. Yep, you saw me do the old twist. It's okay. Yes, so do whatever makes you feel happy, calm, because that's what it's all about. Right? And then we're going to turn this. Whoops, camera's jiggling again. All right. All right, let me bring you back up here. Okay. And just snip off those. And if it's a natural fiber from the fabric, then I'm not going to worry about it. But look at that. I just love that. And again, I would probably go and some of my other ones, I would make those tighter, but I just wanted to show you what I'm working on. And again, lay the pieces out again. Yep, right there. And for this piece, then I would stitch this to the music, and then I would stitch this to this doily. And there you have it for today. I'm going to work on this a little more, and then I will come back and show you my progress. So grab some fabric scraps, grab some thread, grab some buttons, grab your coffee, and I promise you, you will get a much needed break from the world. Thanks everyone for watching. I really appreciate you. Let me know in the comments what you thought. And again, in the comments, if there's a sewing project you'd like to see. Here's another bowl that I did. I used braided fabric. Now I won't do these for the craft shows only because it takes forever to braid this fabric and then to make a bowl. That is labor intensive, but I will be making some more of these for my own home. So I think that will wrap it up for today. And if you like this content, I would really appreciate it if you could hit the like button, subscribe, turn on the notifications, and I will see you in the next video. God bless you all.